Hi guys, I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about my research ideas that have come from 8190 and my innovative artifact and where my progress is with that. The last time we visited, I talked to you a little bit about wanting to explore the culture of a bring your own technology school. That idea was inspired by this image of my former principal that was tweeted by students with the comment, my principal, this is what our new principal does. And the idea of how adult behavior on with technology affects student behavior with technology, and the idea of how to control distraction and how to get past those difficulties that come with teaching in a school with bring your own technology devices. I'm still very interested in what you see here and how this behavior affects students in school. But as I began to work on the artifact I had originally planned, I kind of felt like this, a little bit bored. Wasn't exactly feeling totally connected to this idea. I wasn't really sure how it fleshed out or really how it mattered, I think is what was a challenge for me. And when Callie Newman came to class and talked to us about her artifact and what had happened with the revision assistant, I began to feel a little bit jealous of her because she had come up with something that was genuinely helping students and was genuinely helping an idea that she had when she was teaching in her classroom and she wanted to use to help students be successful. So that sent me back to the drawing board and made me start to think, now what? So I'm bored, now what do I do? So wait, I have students and they do need help. And that is a big part of who I am as a person. And what's drawn me to this PhD program is that I'm a teacher and I've always been a teacher. And so I need to go back to my roots and really start to think about how I can honestly help people and help students and what my interests are and how they meet. Or do they meet at all? Or maybe I just need to go someplace else. So that sent me down this road. And so I currently took an online teaching job with the Georgia Cyber Academy. In all honesty, I took this teaching job as a way of supplementing our income as I began this journey in my PhD program for my family, and was not overly attached to the experience. But as the semester has gone on and as I've started to work with the school and the students, I've really grown and developed a lot of interest in what's going on in the Cyber Academy and in what's going on in online education in general, and how does that connect back to brick and mortar education. So with that idea in mind, and students, because I know students drive some of my most great pieces of creativity, I started thinking about my students at the Cyber Academy. I have 240 co-taught students. That means they're mixed ability from gifted to special education. And the Cyber Academy is noticing that our instruction has to shift from our synchronous offerings, which is our Class Connect sessions where we teach live, to asynchronous offering, which is what goes on in our online high school or desire to learn. Many of our students are not taking part in synchronous offerings. They are only taking part in asynchronous offerings. So that started to make me think, how can I find a way to engage my 240 high school students in education that a teacher is not standing in front of them at all times directing them on what to do? Then that started me down the road of thinking about gamification, and specifically gamification in a learning management system like D2L. So why gamification? Why did I choose this route? So these are the stats for my students. Only 13% of my students attend my synchronous sessions that I hold on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I only am actually having contact in a live session with 13% of my kids. I also found out that only 55% of my students log into the course on a daily basis. So only 55 of them log in to D2L every day to see what is posted in the online high school and what assignments they need to be completing for that day. And that's concerning to me also. Then I noticed that my course has a pass rate of 79% though. So that is interesting to me. The numbers tell some of this story, but not all. So I know based on these numbers that I need to get my kids to log into D2L more to raise my pass rate and also to get them in touch with the content. I also need to spend less time planning my synchronous sessions and more time developing the content inside D2L because that's what most of my students are engaging in. I've also discovered that engagement or just coming and being a part of the school seems to be the largest problem that I'm having as a teacher in the virtual environment. So gamification could be the answer to getting these students to engage or at least log on and look at the curriculum more. So that led me to my next thing, research questions. So will gamification increase my D2L logins? And will it increase their progress in the course? And will it increase or produce higher pass rates? So I have data from this semester with no gamification. So if I add this gamification next semester, will it increase what students are doing inside my classroom? So why do I care about this? What does this have to do with how I began my journey here, the beginning of the semester? So beyond just helping my current students and finding more success and engagement in my online class, which is just interesting all in itself, I'm really more interested in the idea of an LMS and how can it affect engagement for students. So an LMS can drive instruction and differentiation in a brick and mortar school in a similar way that I'm experiencing and teaching at the Cyber Academy. So students that are doing well can continue to work in the LMS on their own, independent, then giving me more time to spend one-on-one instruction with the struggling student, which I see a much easier way of doing that in my virtual experience versus my brick and mortar. So if we brought the LMS into this BYOT experience, could you change the culture because students are then engaged with an LMS as opposed to Snapchat, Instagram, or Twitter? Could we change the culture so that it is now all of a sudden more productive because they have something to engage with and on in that technology? So that's how the pieces have come together for me in this realm, is that if we created effective uses of an LMS, can we change culture? So how am I going to do this? So I'm going to create culture of the game. So I have to create some sort of culture for my students in the online classroom that tells them that they are going to play a game or bring them into the story of the game. I'm going to use the open source software Powtoons and create animations that are going to create a storyline of finding secret knowledge within American literature and use these Powtoons as previews for each level of my game. So how will they progress, or how are they going to win at my game? I'm going to use 3 components, which go back to my research questions or my concerns. I'm going to use their D2L login, their course progress, and their achievement on assignment. So do they log in? Do they engage with the curriculum? And are they passing or moving towards passing in my class? These were the 3 weaknesses. So these are the 3 things I'm going to use to measure or to determine whether progress is being made with this gamification. So what's happening in D2L? So what are the kids going to see in D2L when they log in? Each week or each 6 weeks is going to be developed into levels. The kids are going to build their own school because they go to virtual school and they don't actually have a real school. I think that's a nice storyline for them to work within. So level 1 are the first 6 weeks. They're going to build their actual building. Each week is a challenge. Challenge 1 to create their building. Challenge 2, they're going to build a library. Challenge 3, science labs. 5, technology, or 4, technology. 5, cafeteria and facilities. When you're inside D2L, you're going to be able to see that within each challenge, they will have their curriculum that they work through with their assignments and things that are necessary for them to complete and reach standards. At the bottom of every challenge, they will have something called Stop the Mayhem. These will be extra assignments or bonus assignments that they can work through to prevent things from happening in their school when they challenge each other. So beyond what they'll see in D2L, what will it look like? I'm going to host this. I have somebody that's going to help me program this. And we're going to host it on a separate site that the students will log into. And that it's going to be basic at first, basic graphics, basic everything. First of all, to know whether it's fun and to know what should be automated and what shouldn't be automated. There'll be a team view updated on Mondays and Wednesdays, and a weekly scoreboard that will be published on Monday morning in class news. The team view will look something like this. It'll show what school level they're at. There'll be 4 or 5 different school buildings that they can earn. Then as they build the library, there'll be 4 or 5 different book levels that they can earn. Same with the science lab. It will note their knowledge points and their mayhem potential. So if this is high, they know that they need to go and complete some mayhem stopping activities. I'm also going to have a trophy case here for individual students on each team to be recognized if they have done something like created, stopped mayhem individually, or finished all of their assignments. They would earn trophies here. The weekly scoreboard would look something like this. And so every week we would assess which team is in the lead based on knowledge points, and then the scoreboard would populate like this, ranking each team. Teams would then be able to go back to another challenge and upgrade their school. If they didn't do it 1 week, they could go back, revisit, and upgrade their school so that they can earn more knowledge points for the next week, so that if you're behind, you're never always behind. You can always go back and revisit or revamp or earn more points. So right now, my innovative artifact is still very elementary in development. I plan on rolling this out for my for my second semester students, the mid-second week in January. And so I want to just start by just letting them play and then learn from them. And so I'm hoping that this project by the end of second semester will have evolved so my level 3 will be much more in depth than my level 1, because I will know better what the students are getting from the experience and also what they want from the experience. So I hope that you've enjoyed learning about what I have planned, and I can't wait to share more. Thank